Hi there. Thanks for watching the News Bunker. I'm Andy Waits. It's Friday, January 9th, 2009. Former Senator Tom Daschle has laid out his plan to revamp healthcare in America before a Senate committee. Health and Human Services, that's the department Daschle has been picked to lead, has a budget of $700 billion and 65,000 employees. And that's if you don't count the entire healthcare industry that's about to be folded into it. No word on his health strategy, but I might recommend an apple a day. The switch to digital TV is on February 17th. Or not. Turns out about 7.7 million households have no idea it's coming and don't have cable or a set-top converter to receive digital broadcasts. Once that switch is flipped, that's the only type of through-the-air broadcast there is. So the Obama administration is considering a delay in the switch and an extra $250 million for coupons to help citizens pay for converter boxes. You can click this link to see an interview I did with a TV engineer about digital television. And by the way, no conversion is necessary when you watch online. The National Academy of Sciences says a severe solar storm could cripple our country and all the world that relies on technology. The last huge solar storm was 1859. It shorted out telegraph lines. Now consider satellites, the power grid, pretty much everything that plugs in has a switch or a computer chip. Here's how to prepare for the possibility of a bad solar storm. That's pretty much it. A sheriff in Alabama went to jail for starving his prisoners. Turns out there's a law in his county. Whatever he doesn't spend on jailhouse food, he gets to keep. Over the past 2 years, spent about $100,000, although the state pays just $1.75 a day to feed inmates. And they're losing weight like crazy. This is the sheriff. Looks like he could use a few more nights in his own jail. A 54-year-old Texas man has died of a gunshot wound he suffered 35 years ago. Now the guy who pulled the trigger may face homicide charges. I don't know what the statute of limitations is on something like that. I've never hurt anybody, but I can tell you many times I've shot my mouth off. Now we'll look at some newspapers from around the world and across America. First, the New York Times. Wow, what a mess. Gosh, I wonder what the target was on this block. And the UN says its workers were fired upon. But who pulled the trigger? Wouldn't that require an investigation? On the home front, if you're a skier, beware. The weather this year has made ideal conditions for avalanches. 13 have died in America since December 14th, 23 in North America. In the LA Times, flooding in Washington state, and Obama is the anti-Reagan, putting his trust in big government. Ever notice how he always tilts his head back as though he's looking at something just over the horizon? And news coming out of Chicago. I know it's the second time this week, but the Chicago Tribune says House panel vote impeach governor. They'll do it again next week when the new session starts, and then it's a state Senate trial. And look at this portrait of Obama in a schoolyard. Those are people who make up his hair and his jacket. If you're being crushed under the weight of a giant mortgage and something like 8 million are, a judge may reduce that for you. Foreclosures have quadrupled since the fall of '07. That's a big chunk of our economic problem. So Congress has been proposing letting bankruptcy judges evaluate cases and lower the principal owed on the loan. It was originally part of that $700 billion bank bailout package, but banks squawked about it, so it was removed. But now Citigroup says it's okay. Better than going belly up. And the National Association of Home Builders is also nodding. I wonder how low a judge could make my payment for the news bunker. Now some comments on your comments. JHP2616 writes, like the report, thanks, but gotta ask, where did you get that squeezy, cheesy music? Did you dig that out of the Leisure Suit Larry archives? Wow. Well, I tell you, it's an issue of rights, really. I can use brief pieces of photos in my reports because of a law that says fair use, but it's a violation of copyright laws to use just any music for a theme without paying the artist, the composer, and the publishing company. And it's pricey. That's certainly way out of my league. But how about a contest to compose a new theme for the news bunker? I'm out of work right now, so there's no cash prize, but how about this? First place wins a 5-pound bag of sugar. Sweet, huh? Yeah, let the games begin. And finally, the pearl of wisdom. Richard Milhouse Nixon was born on this date in 1913. He was Eisenhower's VP, lost to Kennedy in 1960, lost the California governor's race in 1962, but won the presidency in 1968 and again in 1972. And then there was Watergate. Nixon is the only man to ever resign the presidency of the United States. He knew winning, and he knew losing. Richard Nixon said, "A man is not finished when he's defeated. He's finished when he quits." Well, that's it for the News Bunker. There's more news on Monday. I love reading your comments, even if you hate my music. But remember the contest. Compose a theme for the News Bunker and win a 5-pound bag of sugar. Woohoo! The yellow subscribe button beckons. It calls to you. Yield to its siren song. And check back in Monday through Friday for more reports from the News Bunker. I'm Andy Waits. Hey, thanks for watching.